chairperson of the Independent Patriots for Change, IPC, in Rundu Urban. Thank you, sir, for making time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, wonderful. Next to him is Eliud Mwamenange. He's an activist of the affirmative repossession movement. Thank you, Eliud, for joining us again. You were with us in August in the north, so it's good to have you again. And next to him is Patrick Shiemo Kashera of the All People's Party. He's the acting chairperson for the Rundu district. Thank you, sir, for making time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. And of course, it's worth mentioning that Patrick there is a candidate for the Rundu Town Council in the local authority election. Next to him is Rebecca Shifotoka. She is the regional coordinator for Kavango East on behalf of Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters. Thank you, Rebecca, for making time. Yeah, your mic. Your mic.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, wonderful. And next to Rebecca is the big man, Vincent Kanyetu. He's Vice President of Action Democratic Movement, ADM. He is, just like Mr. Kashera here and Rebecca, he is also a candidate for Rundu Town Council. Thank you, Vincent, for making time.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, let's have a spirited conversation. Do not pull your punches. We just want to have, the people of Rundu deserve to know who has the best ideas. If one of the panelists is selling us dreams, do point it out to them, to their face, that they are just selling fake dreams, if that is how you feel. Let's start with a brief question to all of you, starting with Moses. Just what sets your party apart from others when it comes to addressing the specific challenges that are faced by the Kavango East in general and Rundu in particular? I'll put the same question to everybody.
Well, thank you very much, Joyce, for that very beautiful question in terms of what sets the Swapo party apart from the rest of the political organizations within the region and particularly in the town of Rundu. I think it's very, very important that we provide background always. Rundu, being declared a town in the late 70s, had a very smaller population then. And then as the population grew, when we headed to independence in the 1990, we had roughly a population of around probably 10,000 to 11,000 there. Now, at 1990, when the government of Namibia became independent, or the Republic of Namibia became independent under the leadership of the Swapo party, the Rundu Town Council had a leadership, or had continuously had a leadership from the ruling party, which is the Swapo party. So if you count from those years to where we are, significant progress have been made, specifically for the people that have been observing and following the growth of this town. Rundu has come of age. This is why we stand out, because in terms of infrastructure, today or 2 days ago, there's a picture that is in circulation on social media that is showing Rundu in 1990 and where Rundu is today. Yeah. Rundu has really grown. The growth of Rundu can only be credited to the leadership that has been there. So the Swapo party has really done so much in terms of developing the town of Rundu, especially within the local authority of Rundu. Yeah. In the 90s, for those who may recall, that Rundu was very small. Today, Rundu boasts around 118, plus minus 118,000 residents of Rundu. That is Rundu alone. Yeah. So that tells you the story of growth. That tells you the story of challenges that have been faced. That also tells you the story of leadership that has been provided. What sets my party apart is that leadership that has continuously pushed for the development and growth of the town of Rundu. Yeah. I believe so much that the continuity in terms of our manifestos speaks for itself. Because what we have done is brick by brick. We don't go back. and start something new, but we continue to build on what we have left. The legacy that has been there is what we have continuously built on. So that is why today, in 2025, in Rundu, there are tarred roads. If you go from here to UNAM, previously known as the Rundu College of Education, there's now a tarred road. There's a fully fledged university campus there, residential plots, residential housing. So that tells you that the Council of Rundu, under the majority leadership of the Swapo party, has done so much in terms of growing the town of Rundu. Okay. A lot of people have come to Rundu to do business because the environment in terms of doing business was flat and square for investors to come and invest in the town of Rundu. That is why Rundu has grown in leaps and bounds to find itself where it is today. So in a nutshell, we are a part and definitely will continue to play in an elite league in terms of providing leadership.
Wonderful. Friends, IPC, what makes IPC different? Because it's too many political parties and people are confused and saying, but which one in this pool must I pick? Why IPC?
Yeah, thank you very much, Toivo, for that beautiful question. It is very important to mention that IPC stand out in the following way, or for the following reasons. IPC have come into the pool of politics or during the time when change was really needed. As Brother Moses have alluded to here, that he provided background where they have started and how much they have done. That is fine, but then IPC came in. If we look at whether they were doing the right things, IPC came in to do things right, or to make things right, because indeed there were things that the Swapo party has overlooked. There were many things that people could not anymore enjoy at times. Then IPC has come in, and if you look at the political landscape of Namibia, has totally and tremendously changed when the IPC came into being, especially when we look at, and we should give credit to Dr. Itula, who has started with the opening up the eyes of the people, because everybody thought maybe it was very much unusual, and it was not contextual for the people to stand out and represent or put up their voices through other political party or other political ventures. But then with IPC and with the influence of Dr. Itula, everybody became aware. And today we should be very proud to say that Kavango East is one of the regions that have groomed so many independent candidates, because it shows that indeed people have understood the assignment on how we should put to practice Article 17 of the Namibian Constitution, where we should be able to influence the composition and policies of government in different means for as long as we remain constructive. So with IPC, with what we have been doing around in terms of corruption and the consistency that we have been putting up for the past 5 years since our inception, is something that makes us stand out. And we still have a long road to go, but what's important is the fact that we remain around a teacher, a man who knows and respects the rule of law. That is what makes us stand apart, because we will never deter or maybe do something else outside the law, but the consistency is what makes this party unique.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Elliot, the affirmative repossession movement.
Well, thank you very much, Toivo, for the question. I think what is very important is that I think the colleagues have highlighted the history of Namibia, but what we are saying is that in around 2014, Namibia had no direction in terms of fighting for social justice. And that is where now the founding father of the AR movement, they came on the table and to answer the question of what is to be done. And then their own political consciousness, their own wisdom and understanding, then dictated that they must form a mass broad movement that should take up that space of social justice. And then when they theorized and conceptualized the AR movement, they then indicated that this is now a movement that is going to be guided by the ideas of Karl Marx. And why so? Because now from 1990 until 2014, we got to understand that we are led by elites who are more interested into capital or profit at the expenses of development of the people. And then on the other side, there is also Frantz Fanon. And if you know, Fanon wrote a lot about what happens in a colony. And then if you look into one of his books, The Riches of the Earth, he used only a singular word, the colony, because he got to understand that what happened in colonies is merely the same story. And then another one is now Thomas Sankara, which is now to say we need to lead a revolution. And then those ideas got to lead us as a movement. So now our ideologies, just from the beginning, is now what made us to be different from the rest of the colleagues here. And then now from there, you would understand that we gave political parties, time, because we believe that maybe we can leave politics at the hand of politicians. Then we just remain a movement whereby we just organize activists when there's a need. But then in around 2019, 2020, we got to realize that this thing is not going to work. We also need to take part into this, terrain of politics. That's why we go to contest first in Valve, Swapo, and then Rundu, just for us to enter the space, because we got to understand that in order for us to transform society, we must be on the table of decision making. And then maybe just to move forward, Trevor, we are also saying that if you look into our AR plan of Namibia, which we launched in 2024, October, in Katima, we then indicated that one of our ideas is that we need to build a new city in Opo that is called Cape Feria. And the reason why we are alluding to that is we got to understand that from independence until now, as a new or independent government, we just failed to build a new city that is now constructed with the understanding of black people, independent people, with their own thoughts and all of that. So that now demonstrates that going into this local government election, so we have that understanding and capacity to just, build a new town from scratch so that we are able to move it forward. Like the colleagues are saying, Rundu is not developed the way they're indicating. It's horrible. I think you have seen how people in Kehemu just now, they were complaining about how their houses are being flooded and all of that. And those are the things that we need to work on. And maybe finally is to say that our own analysis is that local authorities in the main is that we have an issue of leadership crisis where now there's just no leadership in terms of how we can develop our towns. We have now councillors, CEO, and administrators. We have no idea of how to just, generate revenues that you would need and how to manage, your debt that is owed to you. Those are the things that we would like to fix, but the whole idea is to develop a town in a sense that you do have infrastructures, you do have housing, sanitation, water and electricity are provided to the people. So that is what now would make us to be different from others.
Okay. Mr. Kashera?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Toivo. What actually set us apart as APP, the initial setup, the idea that was born by the young man, may he so rest in peace, Mr. Ignatius Chouameni. If you look at our slogan, we are all one. So he made a proper research whereby Namibia is much marginalized and divided in terms of ethnicity as well as tribalism and stuff. So as APP, we believe in the idea of we are one, so unity. Now, looking at Rundu, we have, with the understanding of best research and stuff, we have made a clear research that states that Rundu is actually very far behind. With APP on board, we planned of working together with the traditional authority in which we can make sure we compensate and have land that belong to the town councils, and as well as setting up synergy, whereby we have already planned that this particular land is actually planned for some certain development stuff. As currently as now, you can see that in most cases, land can just be sold by anybody, which is not right. And then we also made a proper and clear research in which we find that Rundu is dark. And then us as APP, we have a solution whereby we made a proper and duly calculative estimation. We calculate that Rundu is approximately 155 kilometers square. So that is equal to say, we are saying that in terms of length, we might have like 200 kilometers in terms of road. And then this might, if we are to have street light, approximately in a length of 50 millimeters or 50 meters. So that can have like 20 LED light that can light up Rundu. And then approximately for about a kilo, you might have like 4,000. So now that roughly gives you 160 million. And then with 30% in addition to that, you can able to light up Rundu. And then we also find that Rundu have a growing population of 118,000.
Yeah.
By 2023. So therefore, as a planned political party,
Yeah.
we also discover that the shortage of water is contributed by the inability of getting a proper research. Yeah. Currently now, Rundu is only supplied by 800 cubic meters per hour, which is far short because the current demand is 1,200.
Yeah.
So, but then we are now short of 400. So we have a plan that goes up to 2037, because by 2037,
Yeah.
Rundu demand in terms of water, it will be 72,000 cubic meters per day.
Yeah.
So with a proper and sound research involving technician and staff, so that will set us free from
Yeah.
this unplanned currently now as we are facing. So that is actually the main ways that set us away from the other political party, because
Wonderful.
we believe in getting a sound research factually and then plan ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Shimotoga, please engage us.
All right, thank you for the question. Yes, we come really not long as Namibian economic freedom fighters. We are actually a political party. It's a movement that has been for the people. Our slogan particularly says land and jobs. We have looked into the unemployment, the land distribution, and people that are being oppressed.
Yeah.
People that are in the positions are not being accountable and not responsible to certain decisions that they have made. So we, the Namibian economic freedom fighters, especially in Rundu, we have grown into an environment where we feel like we do not have to speak. When somebody is on top of you, you have no power. So we decided to be the voice of the people. We want to speak for our people, what is rightfully theirs. Because if you look back, the independence, 35 years, what have we accomplished? Rundu is not how it used to. I grew up here, born here, raised here. But then you look at the infrastructure, nothing has improved. Yes, you can point out here and there, but the distribution of either tenders, these are not fairly distributed. And then you look at high employment. And for us, it's very heartbreaking when you look at your region or your town has a high unemployment, high poverty, high, everything is just too high. We would say we are probably #1 in the whole country. So this is what actually encouraged us to stand up and say, we're going to be the voice of the voiceless. And here from now, as we have to get into the town council, these are things that we are going to put, is not promises. Yeah. We've been there, we've been for the people, knowing that we had a lot of obstacles in our ways, but we made sure that for what we fight for is for the benefit of the people. Thank you.
Thank you. The big man, Tate Kanyetu, please engage us. ADM. It's the first time that you are contesting in this election, and you are a candidate. What sets ADM apart?
Well, there are a number of reasons that sets us apart from all others, starting from your, what you call majority party and all others. Just like you correctly say that it's our first time in local elections. Yeah. It's our second time now contesting for elections in the land of the brave. We participated the first one last year. We did not do very well, of which I believe confidently that this time we are going to do extremely very well. Well, Rundu and all the genesis, even though we are participating for the second time, but we have a very good knowledge and understanding about where Rundu comes from, the challenges within Rundu, and the future. We've got plans for this town. We've got a number of researches that we have put in place, of which we have found the reasons of some of the causes to the challenges facing Rundu.
Yeah.
One of those is the not having a plan of stormwater. We don't have. This is why you see around, we've got challenges. All these locations that are built now, whether it's your Rainbow, whether it's your Millennium, whether Kehemu, people are flooding. Whenever rain falls, people are flooded. Remember I said we have the understanding. Rundu, before and after independence, had a plan. Remember, we are coming from colonial era where we had South Africa being in charge of the affairs here. We had what we used to call Regering of Kavango administration. There was a clear plan, and you can still find it in some of the books, of which some of the places, one of those places are Kehemu, especially this Damenene area, was said to have been a soccer field area. And after independence, because we wanted to be clever and do everything new, we thought we have arrived now, we make Damenene area a residential area. Now look what is happening. People are flooding. And very easily we are going to lose lives of the people. What we are saying is action time is now.
Yeah.
When we get to council, we shall take painful and risky decisions, of which we are going to make Rundu change.
Yeah.
Like in the areas that I just alluded to now, people have to move. It's going to be painful, but council must bear the cost to make sure that we move people so that we make a way for the storm water canal, whatever it's going to be, so that we remove danger from the people who are close to that area. Secondly, Rundu, as big as it is now, it's a shame that we don't have machinery that can repair our roads here. It's a shame, truly. We had machineries after independence. Now, as we speak, we don't even have a grader. But we have administration in place. Every time election comes, we elect councillors, they come and go. We don't have even one grader now, as we speak. Action time is now. Rundu must have all the necessary machineries to make sure that whenever we need to construct a road or whatever, we have to have our own equipment, not hiring from the Chinese or hiring from private companies. I'm not saying we cannot hire. We can if need be, but we must have our own.
Absolutely.
Secondly, I'm not done.
No, we'll still don't exhaust your ideas yet.
Yes. Secondly,
thirdly,
sorry. Rundu is completely divided as we speak now. Ours is to bring everybody who lives in Rundu together, sit around, plan together, and put into action what we have decided, not what some people have decided in the middle of the night. No. What we as residents have to decide is what needs to be put into action. Absolutely. So this is why we are not going to be talkative people or people who are going to hire consultants. We are going to be our own consultants, because these consultancies are just finishing our resources within the administration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my senior. So, Mr. Moses Shikarete, let's go back to you. Yes. So now let's get into the specific challenges. Unemployment has popped up from this conversation that there's a lot of people, young people here who do not have jobs. Yet, the paradox for me is that this is a very booming town otherwise. With all its challenges, somehow, because I'm told even that it has the second highest population after Vindu.
Yes.
That's crazy. So if you set up your small business here, you have a market. But unfortunately, there are not enough empowered people to come to your market and buy this or that. What is the cause of this situation?
Thank you very much.
And how will you approach it?
Yeah, thank you very much, Toivo. And I think, first and foremost, it's very much important for me to clear the myth coming from my left in terms of administration. Because we need to now separate administration and politics. Because when you go into town council, it's good we have candidates here who are vying for local authority. But I'm worried that some of them do not understand the task that lies ahead of them. Because from what they are putting across, it already tells you that they are putting across conflicting ideas that are not speaking to the mandate of local authority councillors. Remember, local authority councillors are going in the local authority in terms of governing the institution as a political arm. Yeah. Now, to come back to you, it's very, very important that a political party that contests for election have the trust and have numbers from the people. Many of our colleagues here on this table have been around for far too long. And there must be a reason why people continue to reject them at the ballots. It's because what we have witnessed here is that they put across conflicting ideas that might temper administratively. It's a matter of not understanding what we have to put across, where we are headed, because remember there's an administrative arm that is already in place. It exists without individuals. Individuals come and go, but the system remains. So what is there is for you to put ideas that are going to contribute meaningfully to the administration of the town. Now, you clearly mentioned in terms of unemployment. Kavango, in particular, Kavango East, yes, by population, we are the second highest populated region in terms of numbers. And Rundu in particular, I think we have now beat Walvisbay. Now, Toys, you also need to understand that in the Kavango East region, there's only Rundu as the biggest town. Divundu is still a village council, and from Rundu to Divundu is 200 kilometers. So in between Rundu and Divundu, there is no town in between. So people flock from the rural areas of the Kavango East region into Rundu. So at the end of the day, it puts pressure on the service supply of the town. I'll give you an example that over 10 years ago, some of the current locations that we have in Rundu could not exist. Why? Because people are flocking into town in search for opportunities. If there were no opportunities in the town of Rundu, I believe these people would have remained in the rural areas where they are better off staying in the rural areas. But what I've experienced in the past years is that every morning when you wake up, I do jog every morning, but every morning when you wake up, you will experience an influx of people coming into town, going for work, without us denying that we are faced with a crisis of unemployment. But we must also acknowledge that there are those young people that are able to wake up every day, go to town, and have jobs. Jobs in Rundu may differ. Remember, just yesterday, we have seen that the informal sector is contributing 12% higher than the mining sector even. That is nationally. What does that tell you? It tells you that the informal traders within Rundu, there is money in circulation. There is business happening. If you go around our local markets here, people are doing business. And this tells you a story of a densely populated town. You cannot all rely on the government in terms of employment creation. But as industry players, you have mentioned the business people. In my introduction, I clearly said the Town Council of Rundu, under the leadership of the Swapo Party, have provided an environment that has made it easier for investors to come and set up and create employment opportunities. There are so many sectors that have set up in Rundu that have employed some of our young people. And now you need also understand that Rundu is not a mining town. So the employment creation in Rundu compared to that of Valfesbai, to that of Swapo may vary because it's about the industries that exist in that particular town. So we from the Swapo Party will continue to say Rundu has huge potential in terms of providing for its resident. What is required is a continuous leadership that sets out plans that are going to benefit the people of Rundu. Many of the colleagues here on the table have attempted, like it was clearly said, it's not the first time. They've attempted, but look, a political party is stronger by its people. Swapo Party is voted into the council because of the ideas and the history of service that we have given to the people of Rundu. That's why we continuously find ourselves leading the town of Rundu. So we have a plan for this town and the region in particular.
Thank you, brother. I was going to go through the line again, but I will just jump quickly. Elliot kept shaking his head at every point that he made. What is it that you disagree with from what Mr. Moses said?
I mean, first thing first, it's laughable for a guy who probably employed by government and then tell people that it's not the government's duty to employ people, but it's probably employed by government. And then he also kept on talking about the services they are providing. I can tell you now, just where we are close to the CBD. There are no roads around us. And then if you just move on the other side, you find that a lot of people in Rundu, they are unemployed. Of course, I'm aware that these Swapo people, they don't do research and they probably don't benchmark to understand how cities are developed all over the world. That's why we say, as the AR movement, we have it as part of our plan to say that we can develop a new city or town from scratch because we have idea and how that can be done. He's saying Rundu is not a mining town, but we have the river here. What does that tell you? Industry is not about mining. There's also a river here. Our people in Rundu, they are also good in craft. So it's an industry on its own. Probably doesn't know what are industries. You think mining is the only industry that is there. And what we are saying is that this guy is talking about investment. There's no serious investors who come invest in Rundu where infrastructures are in a mess. That's the reason why people don't come here. It's because the town is messed up. In terms of how Rundu is organized, you could see that this is a town that we inherited from apartheid. And bad enough, Ordinary Plan did not include Rundu. So that's why you don't find massive infrastructures like the ones you find in Windhoek or in Valves. The longest or the tallest building you find in Rundu is that private hospital. It's because white people never developed it. And these guys took over for 35 years, and now there are no services. Go there in Dama. There's no water and electricity happening there because these guys failed to do so. Here in KMU, people are complaining how their houses are being flooded because these guys have poorly planned the town. They cannot plan, and that is a fact. And then we are saying that when you do this, you need to collect revenues, and there are other industries that you can also go in. Real estate, for instance. Renting, we have a lot of institutions that are here, higher education institutions, and these students are subjected to high renting from other people. Council can actually come up with student village where now these students rent from them, and then they generate money to develop a town. So what we are being told is just total rubbish that is not backed up by realities. Because if you take him now and just ask him, can he tell you where is development in Rundu? We can't show it because it does not exist. Because even just from the CBD, you can see that such things are not happening. So now we are just being told people trusted Swapo. But the numbers are saying people are unemployed, people are hungry, people are in poverty here in Kavango East and in Rundu. That is a fact, not what he's saying, fact. That people here are unemployed, people here are living in poverty, people do not have access to water and electricity. Services in Rundu, I can tell you, in a police station, in a bank, anywhere is always full of people because these guys, the way they plan, they don't pay attention to numbers. So really, we must be told about things that can be justified, not just lies that we get everywhere.
Okay, we'll come back to you to deal with that aspect, yes. But let's proceed, Mr. Ganjilu.
Yes, thank you very much, Toivo. I would just like to make, to do just to your question and perhaps correct a few things that came from the Swapo party desk. Looking at the unemployment, and given the fact that Rundu is the second populated town or region at large, second to Windhoek, here it is. It is clear that from the Swapo party, we are aware that they don't have a plan to solve this problem once and for all with regards to unemployment and how to control the influxing of movement of people from the rural area to this Rundu. Now, if we look at how things have been, there is no way you will stop people from moving to Rundu if you are not creating a conducive environment for the people in the rural area. And this is supposed to be done for the past 35 years. If it hasn't been done, it simply means that the colleagues are unaware of where to touch in order to solve the problem, because otherwise people will continue to come and look for what is better in Rundu and leave the rural area. What is important as a plan that we have as IPC is to make sure that we identify a few individuals that are employing our people in Rundu and look at the tax that they are paying to the government. It is quite too high to a point that there's no logic in them employing the people of the government and then pay too much tax to the government as well. So we are going to make sure that we reduce the tax that they pay so that they bring in our people and employ them. That is one, within the town. Now, in the rural areas, we'd like to create a conducive environment where we are saying, you at the village, your potato that you can grow, when you bring it to town, there are people that are ready to buy it, people that are going to process that potato and get some byproducts out of it. The market needs to be organized for the people, and they need to be convinced that there's no need for me to go to town and stay and demand for services that the government or the local authority is unable to provide. But since the environment is made for me conducive, I will remain here and produce my agricultural product or whatever you can do in the village, and remain there. And this thing becomes the same when it comes to schools. That's why Rundu, we have seen that all the times, year in, year out, there are learners that don't get schools or spaces. It's simply because learners are moving from the villages. Why don't you construct schools, proper schools with hostels in the villages, and make sure that those schools are very, very conducive for the people to stay there, and they don't need to come here? And this is the plan of IPC, and which we have not seen. And this is going to be very simple. Incentivizing the organizations or shops that are employing our people, making sure that if they train or maybe put people into enterprises, they are going to make sure that they employ our people, and this unemployment will become story of the past. So that is what we have.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kanjulu. Mr. Kashera, your contribution to that question.
Yeah, no, the question is very nice and correct, but I can say the three desks did not answer the question properly. But then, first of all, I just want to give you a hint that respect for law is the beginning of success. If you look, for example, from the first table, Swapo, IPC, and then AR, just put the picture of the 7 candidates. They already violated, especially like the IPC and the AR, they have already violated the ECN Act. If you look at their candidate, instead of saying at least 3 female, they are having only 2. And then IPC...
Is it here in Rundu? Or
here in Rundu.
Yeah.
The IPC, instead of having at least some male and stuff, they are having 6 female, 1. You can already see that they are disorganized. And then the Swapo, you can see that they don't do a proper research. They took people from who have fat pocket, from Tutungen and whatever, put them in whatever. They don't understand what is happening in the suburb area. Okay, let me get to my point. As APP, that's why I say we are one. We made a proper research to understand first what is the need. So we have to get people from all walk of life. And then they are the ones to tell us what are the needs, what do they want, how to cap up unemployment. That's why I say that, first of all, let's get the land, because as we speak right now, currently, the town council does not have land. Everyone can just sell land left, right. Even somebody coming from America can just reside anywhere and start selling land, because there's no control and proper administration. First of all, like I said, we are going to put up signage, identify plot where we are going to set up infrastructure, which is actually going to be rented for service delivery, like factory, whereby they can produce clothing, and sometime we can talk about, we have timbers here. So we cannot just rely on mining and stuff. We have timbers here where we can produce something better. And that factory is not expensive. To get a machine that can produce something like bread and stuff, in South Africa, just 1 million. So I don't think that RTC will fail in getting that, in acquiring that one. We have Midco. As we speak right now, it's just a dead white elephant. So what we're going to do, we are going to find ways of how we are to have proper infrastructure and get proper investors that are going to invest in our town in order to, for our youth to work and cap out unemployment. Let me give an example. Of recent, 5 years ago, there were a cry in Windhoek whereby Namibia Brewery were talking about a shortage of water. So why are we having Namibia Brewery in a desert where there's no water? We have a river here. Bring Namibia Brewery. We're not saying that we are bringing alcohol to the people, because a lot of things being produced in Namibia Brewery. There's alcohol, there's cool drink and stuff going to be sold. And we are going to have a big market. Bring it near to the river where we are having water here, and then we are going to have to employ a lot of people who are going to work in there. And then we have nearby here, Vungu. We can see how we can partner with Rundu Rural and see how best our youth can work in the milling factory. So it's actually a lack of knowledge and a lack of consultation. What we are saying here is that APP believe in research and in consultation. You cannot just decide, walk up alone and say that you're going to decide. When we're talking about consultation, we're not going to consult outside. We have already people who are members, who are engineers, so all that. Yeah. Let me give an example. We have problem with electricity. And this is the only town where you found that it goes on and off and just that. Yeah. So what if we to procure, let's say, solar, and then have a plant that will provide enough electricity to supply Rundu? And that also, doing so, we are going to provide employment. Yeah. And like I said, finally, like I said, when we talk about road, make a proper research. Now, doing that, building road in those suburb areas that they are neglecting. If you look, for example, they are talking about, for example, Donkerhoek is formalized. But if you go to Donkerhoek, in the street just within Donkerhoek, and then you go to Tumweneni, where they are saying that informal settlement, then you look around, which one is formalized and which one is informal. If you go to Tumweneni, you find that people have set up proper road, while here, which is just in the CBD, you hardly go to your house. So that is actually something which is not right. Yeah. So having to build a road, like I said, you are going to employ a lot of people, and they are going to work. And doing so, you are going to cap up unemployment. And lastly, employers who are happy always perform at their utmost best. Let me give an example at what happened in Erandis. They build a house for their employers, for the council's employers, and they build Swapo, they build houses that they rented out. This money comes in the council. So this money can be used to do a lot of things, and then in the end you are able to maximize incomes. Absolutely. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Rebecca, please talk to us.
Yes, I had the gentleman's to say to my contribution actually is we look at Rundu, where we are now. As I mentioned earlier about unemployment, yes, varsities are there, vocations are there, but after vocation, what happens? Yeah. And as leaders, we sit and then wait without even looking at these graduates. After graduation, what happens? Yeah. As a town, you know, this mentality of the ruling party, whereby they feel certain people are the most important ones and the others are not, should come to an end. Yeah. Because if you look at it, you don't treat a town, what is for community, you don't treat it like as if it's from your house. It comes with their leaders. They treat this town as if we are living in their house, and which is not correct. And with NEFF, we are going to make sure that when we get in there, is to make sure whatever is titled for every Kavango or every member or every resident that is in this town gets fair distribution of land, either employment, tender. You know, you get tenders when they are out. Some don't even reach media. All of a sudden you see this certain person is running this tender, but then they finish it halfway. Why is our roads? We are not even far. Here is our road here. What happened? Because why? You are my friend, I'm going to give you this tender, and then we eat together. And then when we employ, we don't look at this. You know, it's so easy to just go to vocation. Get these students that graduated, bricklaying, bring them in. Even it's a contract for the time being. And then you also look at the libraries. Our infrastructure, you look at that, it's a very tiny library. And our town council does not look at how, what to actually emphasize to bring in money. All they depend on, it's only the tax and rates, and then the service fees. That's it. What else is there? They are not actually thinking out of the box to say, okay, let's put this, even to say, we get a land. This SME centers, you get, like most that did this sewing, cloth production, you can find them it's everywhere, in every open market. But then why can't you bring for them a factory where they all work, where we produce our own school uniforms? You understand? Overalls, whatever it is, we start it here. And then you look at mechanics. These are the sector that we don't pay attention. They graduate, after graduation, they have to start under a tree. But this is somebody that has been probably an A-star student. But you now, as a town, these are things you look at. Let's build a structure where incubators, where every mechanic rents from there. Yeah. This is also a source of income to build up. This is how you are actually going to remove these people out of the streets. And then you look at street vendors. Unless they have to put it themselves. But then why can't you make it easier for them? They're out there, but their things have been thrown around. Yeah. But why can't you meet them halfway? You can see they are trying. But all you do is you criticize them, you take their goods away, and then you walk away. And then you expect money to come from where? And how do you develop such a town? And you can say, yeah, there is no development here. Let's just be honest. There is no development. Looking at where we were and where we are now, there is nothing.
I understand.
And now it's time that we stand up and make those changes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mpandu. Chief, please.
Yes, thank you once again. Maybe to start off, I just want to correct the messenger from the Swapo party that said some people and political formations are busy selling unrealistic ideas. Particularly the ADM knows exactly what is it that needs to be done to bring Rundu in order. Look, we had businesses here after independence. One of those, Bangura here, they just lost their land in the watchful and in the administration led by the so-called majority party, who's the Swapo party. It's in the media now. The council has to refund, is it 1.4, 1.5? Is that how we develop a town? Secondly, a story of Rundu is always and will always not be complete if you don't speak about already existing lodges like Yongandu Lodge, Yo Mashare. As we speak now, Mashare Hotels is going to close doors any moment from now. Ask me why. Why? Because the leadership we have now, who does not consult, approved a project, the project that you people from Windhoek want to take our water to Windhoek. I don't know what's wrong with your water there. And because of the pressure of those machines, the rooms of Omashare, I was there, you can go, even now from here. The houses, the rooms are cracking, starting from your floor here to the walls are cracking. That means we are going to have some young people losing jobs. How are you creating jobs? What we are saying is that with our leadership coming into council, of course we understand there's a separation between administration and politics, but the politicians need to give direction and hold the administrators account. If you look now, how things stand, there's no one responsible for nothing, starting from your CEO and all others. This is why you have the town getting messed up every day. While we have people who are responsible, who are supposed to give direction, what we are saying is that we are not going to work in isolation. We'll work with everybody. We'll also need Swapo party, although they believe in the consultancy and stuff. We don't believe in consultants. Developing and creating employment in Rundu is very simple. Your already existing businesses, you empower them. You discuss with them and see what is it that they need. The Mbangura I'm referring to is a factory supposed to be that could have manufactures our table, our chairs, even provide for our schools. But what have we done after independence? Slowly but surely, we have killed Mbangura. It's dead. Yeah. Only few individuals are even buying from Bangura. Not even council, either local or regional council, not even ministries. Ministries are even importing chairs from outside instead of buying from Bangura. Now, how do you expect a business to continue if we are not supporting them?
Absolutely.
Every December, even starting now, if you go to Wimby, you find bags and bags that comes from Zambia, full of mangoes. What is wrong with us? Zambia is created by God with a fertile soil, just like Kavango and Rundu in particular. We have the river here. Why can we not create a space whereby we take some of the unemployed youth, including our women who are unemployed, and make them plant mangoes? In 5-10 years, we will have a mango garden around Rundu, even guavas, so that we can start producing our own guavas. We used to have a vunguvungu here, which is also killed by your Swapo party after independence. We used to have a dairy here, killed by the Swapo party. What we are saying is that we cannot be claiming to be clever here. We have to face the reality and act. This is why we say action time is now. There is no room for talking stories here. If the roads are a problem, then we know we have to fix the roads. If houses needs to be constructed, we don't need anyone from Windhoek or China to come and tell us that we need houses. We look at it and construct. Yeah. If we have to survey the land and add value instead of selling unserviced land, we have to do it ourselves, you know. Yeah. So this is why we are saying developing Rundu and solving Rundu issues needs to have people like ourselves that believe in action, not just talking every day.
Thank you.
Coming into council, to conclude,
yeah,
there is no wearing of ties and things. We are going to be wearing overall, all of us, because we have job to do here. Yeah. Things are messed up. We have to fix the road. We have to fix our water. And in fact, we will have two types of water: clean water and black water. The black water that will be recycled, the water that you use for your toilets and for your kitchens and stuff, so that the residents of Rundu has to use those water for irrigating their plants, either their grass or their whatever plants they are going to plant. Yeah. Doing that will create employment. And last, before I hand it over to you, look, we have a mining here that Swapo party doesn't recognize. Sand mining is happening here at our area here. Go there even tomorrow morning. You find holes and holes, and no one is holding those people accountable. Council does not know how much money does those people make. And it's affecting our environment, especially the river.
Yeah.
We have people who are sleeping in duty. It's about time. Action time is now.
Okay, thank you. So you have taken a lot of body punches.
Yes.
Please see which of those issues you can address quickly, but
Yes.
the question that I'll put across to everybody again, before we speak to our audience, also to engage all of us, will be on the situation of informal settlements. They've been mentioned a lot here, Dongerhoek and everything that I heard for the first time here. They are already here. So how they came about is no longer important. Is how do we help those fellow citizens in those bashes and whatnot, without unserviced land and unserviced this and that? How do we find solutions? But before that, maybe if you want to address anything that was said.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Toivo, for giving me this platform. You know, when you are the tallest elephant in the room, you always receive the highest of the punches because we are doing well, because we have been in existence and we are doing well. That is why you see that the comrades on my left are definitely going to speak because they know very well they don't stand a chance to go and confuse our people. First and foremost, I want to clearly debunk the myth that is being propagated by ADM to say, it clearly says their political party is coming in to come and disadvantage the business community of Rundu. Because what they are saying, number one, they are not going to hire a consultant for the town. That is already very dangerous for a growing town like Rundu. It is very dangerous already when you don't hire a consultant that is going to hold your contractors accountable. That is very, very dangerous and risky. To our voters out there, if this is the type of leadership that you want to bring across, it is dangerous for the development of our town. Secondly, it is very, very important for us to differentiate. And remember, from the introduction, I said, when we know that we are here to discuss matters of Rundu, specifically as a local authority, it becomes a problem when we now mix in regional issues. We are here discussing matters of Rundu and councillors that we are sponsoring and the plans of action that they are going to do for the people of Rundu within the boundaries of Rundu. Most of the people here, most of the speakers here are speaking about regional issues. We could talk about regional issues. The Swapo Party Manifesto is not a hidden document. It's out there. The implementation plan is out there. We all know that recently we have launched the National Youth Development Fund that has now been pushed up to the age of 45, where beneficiaries from this region, Kavango East, have also recently benefited. Announcements were done. It's out there. This is public information, you understand? And when we say we want to go and then reduce tax that is already being paid so that we can create opportunities, it is a wrong approach because currently, as a caring government, we have decided to avail funds in order for people to start businesses. What is required of you is for you to make sure that you just read the requirements. And remember, this funding is not funding that is going to Swapo members. This is funding that is going to Namibians who are able to create opportunities. Secondly, like you have highlighted clearly, and many of them, and I want to acknowledge that most of us acknowledge the fact that our town is embattled by youth unemployment, which is very, very central. And I think sometimes when we speak, it's important to find common ground on certain issues. He spoke about sand mining. The reason why the Rundu Town Council had not stopped those people from doing the sand mining that they are doing there is because we have acknowledged it's one of the contributing industry, a growing industry that we have seen at least has kept our people busy and are busy making an income out of it. Now,
the environment element that you spoke about?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
The environment element in terms of protecting the environment. If you drive from here on your way to Vungu Vungu, just by Kaisosi there, you are going to find pit holes, borrow pits where they are collecting gravel that is busy developing roads in this town. The contractors, after they are done with those, with collecting the gravel, some of them do not even rehabilitate. They leave them as they are. Some of them try to rehabilitate them. Of course, we have to acknowledge some of those fields belong to certain individuals and have permitted those contractors to come and do that work there. But first and foremost, in terms of you protecting your environment, you need to study and look to what extent does this damage the environment, over how much does it contribute to the economic need of the people of that town. So as a caring party, we have said the issue of sand mining currently, it's an issue that we need to look at in terms of long-term impact, and we also need to look at the short-term impact. When we are going to close off the sand mining, of course there's a plan at council now in terms of what is going to happen moving forward, because we also acknowledge the fact that it has a negative impact on the environment, but at the same time, its positive aspects should not be overlooked. Because our young people that wake up at 5 o'clock to go and dig sand and be paid should not be punished in the name of protecting the environment. It is very, very important. Now, in terms of job creation, if young people are able to find something to do by themselves and for themselves, as a caring government, we should be able to see how we meet them halfway. So that is why at Rundu Town Council, through the Swapo-led council, we have a plan, and a plan of action that is soon going to be unveiled, that is going to look at how do we then protect that space, how do we continue to work with those contractors. Because remember, there are towns where you go and find that only certain companies that are contracted to supply sand, and we do not want to become a capitalist council that does not care about the plight of its people. Yeah. That is very, very crucial. So this is why when you hear a politician mention of doing away with contractors, there will be no tenders. If I heard correctly, tenders will have to be done away with. We just start building. You know, that's going to cause chaos, because already where we are as a town, we have pushed forward in terms of developing this town. Yeah. And if I listened very well to one of the speakers here, they said the councillors that we have put across or that we have sponsored as a party are councillors that are coming from affluent neighborhoods, and then have left out councillors that are coming from the informal settlement, if I correctly heard that. I think this process in our party goes through all the structures. We don't go and appoint you, Moses, you are going to become a candidate for the local authority of Rundu on the party ticket. No. What we do is through our structures, from the grassroots up to where we find ourselves now, that we have now sponsored councillors. They go through that rigorous process. They are nominated. They are tested through an election process. And those who emerge, regardless of where you live. Now, it is dangerous when we have politicians that think those who live on the western part of town don't deserve service from council, because service should only be given to those who live in the informal settlement. That's a very dangerous precedence that a council is going to set, and it's going to make individuals fight. And I want to say, the leader of the ADM clearly said that the town council or the local authority belongs to the people of Rundu, irregardless of where you live. It belongs to the people of Rundu. So let us do away with the mentality of separating or putting a boundary to say those who live on this part should benefit more than those who live on the other part. So I just wanted to clear on that one. And I want to allow you to get to the next question, so that we move.
Yeah, so thank you for that reaction. So there was the issue of informal settlements, but I will start with the comrades and then we come back to you.
Thank you.
Before we speak to our honorable audience. Informal settlements, they are here now. What must happen? How do we arrest this mushrooming of informal settlements, and those that already exist? What must we do to really make sure that those people live a bit of a dignified life?
Yes, thank you very much. To answer to that question, I would like to quickly correct the Swapo party representative to say when he looks to his left, he must not just see comrades. He must actually categorize us, because that is something that brings an effect on how they are also doing things in this country. We are not all comrades, because comrades has a limited thing to come somewhere. We haven't fought any wars. We haven't suffered with anybody in the forests. So we are people that have to do with what is currently happening. As with regards to what is happening to the informal settlement, it is very important for our electorate and the people following us to understand that for the past 35 years, there are things that authorities have not done. And these authorities were supposed to be held accountable by the party that is in the majority. For example, if the Swapo party is unable to correct what is happening, from where they are able to correct, we given their mandate, it becomes a problem, because if you look at the situation of Rundu, every location out there, people went to settle before council got there. So that is something that the Swapo party should accept and take it as a failure. And when he speaks of saying when you are the tallest elephant in the building, you receive the most punches, I would like to correct to say that we would like to see them, or to see him here as a Swapo party representative, as that parent who has failed the children. They have failed, and we would like things to be corrected now. When those informal settlements are looked at, right now the only thing that the council should do, and that is if IPC is going to be given the mandate by being given the number of seats that allow them to make decisions, is to make sure that those informal settlements are rectified by making sure that whatever is done incorrectly, the council takes charge. If it has to do with recompensating people and move them to conducive environment, so it should be done. But then we should not allow any more or any new location to come up by means of people going to start. But the council need to relocate people to places that are well organized. And then right now, the money of maybe starting a new location should come from where? Giving the people in the informal settlement title deeds for those houses that do not disturb the way an informal settlement should be formalized. They need to be given title deeds, and the town council owns or take money from them. Or with, of course, they need to look at the administrative justice so that people are not punished, but in a way that the people are going to do it in a way to support the council to make sure that Rundu is transformed. But then, if we know that this population is growing, town council need to be very proactive to make sure that they start developing informal settlements, or not informal settlement, but formal settlements before the people come. Because the history of Kehemu, the history of Kaisosi, to Hingireni, to Mweneni, people went there, and town council always go there and react, to chase people around, harass people, but then it never worked because people have the power. When people decide we are not moving, they will never move. So that's why the town council, which Swapo party has failed, because they have been leading the town council without doing anything, but they allowed it to continue, kept going. Until today, we still have this Tumeneni is a new thing. But today, without any choice, they are busy now trying to give them schools, and yet they cancel school, calling schools illegal, whatever, but you have formalized or you have accepted that this location is accepted, but yet services are being called illegal. So it's something that the Swapo party has not really gotten what to do and how to solve the people's problem. So that's why town council need to make sure that they go back to informal settlement, give them the services, the sewer lines need to be put in place, the water need to be put in place. If a house or a home is found in a place where it was not supposed to be, let them negotiate with the residents there, maybe relocate them in a proper way, but then the town council cannot expect money from the people where they are not pumping money into. Yeah. You cannot demand for any increment in terms of the payment of rates if you did not improve where I stay. Because there are things that I can do within my homestead, but there are things that the council should do in order for me to be happy and pay. Yeah. Because I need to say, town council is really doing well, and they are really accounting for every cent that is coming from my house, and I'm willing to put more so that my town can look better. So that is the plan that IPC has in terms of Rundu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Elliot.
Okay, just a quick one. The first one is to just correct my colleague here to say a poster is not a list. For him to say we violated laws in terms of posters, please go to ECN, you'll find our our list, it has 3 ladies among those 7 people. That is the starting point. But the second one is that we are dealing with how do you formalize an informal settlement. And I've been indicating to say that as AR activists, we always understood that we can actually build either a new town from scratch into up a standard town, or the existing one, we can always build it better. This is what we can do. There are already models that you can follow. But what we are going to do is that the first thing you need to fix is the leadership. If you don't have right leaders in place, you cannot do that. Then secondly is now resources. So you need to ensure that council has a bunch of, pools where you can get revenues, and then you can use those revenues in order for you to formalize these informal settlements. And now what you need to do first is that once you have revenues, you have money in place. And then how do you make money, for instance? And I agree with my senior to say that we need to cut out these consultancies. Now, these Swapo people, they have no capacity. That's why they consult on even maybe how to build a toilet, they can consult, because they have no capacity. You cut out this unnecessary cost so that you have money in place. Once you do that, because remember what we do in the AR movement, we always understood that countries that develop in the world, we can look at China, Singapore, and elsewhere, they use what is known as a developmental state. What does that mean? It means that they state, but can also apply to a council. Council has capacity to provide services to the people, including building houses. So now, if there is already an existing informal settlement, what do? You go outside the border of a town, you just go out a little bit, you build new houses, then once you are done there, and it's not something that can happen overnight, because the town is already messed up, and you ought to communicate with the people to say, look, we already have a mess created by these Swapo people, but we are going to clear up the mess. How do we clear up the mess? So we first going to build houses outside, where you currently live. And then once we are done, then it's something that is going to be done very fast. Once we are done, we will then move people from where they are to the new houses. And then from there, you can now look at how do I deal with what I have here, a place where you located people. Because what I'm saying is that when you are developing a town, you can either use a concentric zone, or you can use even a multiple nuclear zone as a way to develop a town. What does it mean? It means you don't only depend on one CBD. You can have a CBD here, people who depend on it, but on the other side, because a location like Ndama, for instance, there's no need for these people to depend on the CBD that is here. You can develop their services on the other side. So the plan that we have is to say that if we are to formalize this informal settlement, we must very fast in terms of now building houses where we relocate people, and once we relocate them, then we develop where now they currently stay. And then prevention is always better than cure. Like I said, now you have to deal with a town that is already messed up. That's why you must build houses first before you move people. But now, in the future, you need to ensure that you avoid that, because it's very costly. So what you do, you now need to ensure that people have access to housing that council can build, but also private sector people who are interested, they can compete if they want, but council should really spearhead that process of building houses so that people have access to these, services in place there. So that is how we can resolve that matter very fast. To say that, number one, we put up the correct and the right leaders who understand what is it when it comes to developing a town, what is it that you need. Secondly, you now need to diversify your revenue so that you are able to bring in money. And then you also control your revenue, how you use them, including cutting out this unnecessary consultancy that they are doing because they have no capacity. We have our internal, capacity how to do things. And then at the end of the day, build the houses, relocate people. Once you are done, you plan where they are. And then at the end of the day, you are done resolving the issue of housing. You can go to Singapore, they managed to deal with the issue of these informal settlements. And you can also go to other places where we have progressive leaders. They can do that. We believe as the AR movement, if you take over Rundu, it is actually going to be very nice, because as the second highest populated urban center, we can transform it into a better city that these Swapo people failed to do for the past 35 years. And we have young men and women of talent and energy who are our candidates. A lot of them, they are professionals who understand what we want to do, but we are also going to give them necessary support that they need to ensure that we succeed in bringing Rundu where it is. And then finally, Toivo, what we are saying is that Rundu being the second highest populated urban center, it also needs to contribute to the development of Namibia. You can't run Namibia properly without Rundu, because that is where the population is, that is where the masses are, that is where the market is. And the moment you get the Rundu right, you don't only resolve the matter of people in Rundu. This is a capital city for Kavango East. Kavango East cannot move without Rundu. And certainly, Namibia cannot move without Rundu. That's why in the heart of the AR movement, Rundu is very important because of our people that are here and because of potential that is here. We are saying, finally, is to say that tourism, my senior spoke about it, is a very important sector that you can also look at, because I think for these comrades, what they know is just mining. Mining is a sector. No, tourism is a sector. Real estate is a sector. There is also other investment that council can do in terms of bringing these services to the people. And then finally, I've been saying finally now, you say that once your people are empowered, Toivo, then they can, pay for their services. Because what is happening now, it was actually embarrassing for the CEO to say every month the amount of money being owed to council is just too much. And last time I checked, Rundu is the first in terms of owing NAM water. Why are people owing NAM water? Because people are unemployed. And then this comrade is giving fake, numbers. People are unemployed. That's why they cannot pay for water. So now once people are empowered in terms of jobs and money that they have, they're able to pay services to who? To council and all those other service providers. Yeah. So I think that is the context from the AR movement.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kashera.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Toivo. I think, to be exact, I will say the three party, Swapo, IPC, AR, failed the people of Rundu. Why am I saying so? Why didn't they send those candidates to come here and tell the people what did they prepare? What are they going to do for the people? So it means that these three parties, they don't have trust in their people. So you already see that clearly that those people in the council, they will have somebody to interact with them. So they will operate like on remote control. That's already a failure. So let me just get back to the question, but before that, let me just clear the first table, my brother from Swapo. You can't separate, when you talk about Rundu, you can't separate local authority and regional council, because these two, the regional council, the council of the regional council is working in hand with the town council. So now, when you say that we talk about Rundu, you have to put about regional council aside. So it means already a confusion. So you cannot separate the two. They have to work in hand together. So that you can already see that that's why we find ourselves in this mess, because the Swapo people, they have already separated these people. When they talk about Rundu affair, they send away the regional council, so which is not right. So fortunately, Mr. Toivo from APP, fortunately, when you talk about informal settlement here, you are with the scientists. Yeah. None from my colleague here talk about sport. Yeah. The scientist speaking here started boxing under the tree, which took a flight to Australia and winning a gold medal, bringing it here. So that's one way of empowering the youth to bring money in their pocket. So that is the failure of Rundu Town Council, the current administration. They cannot identify a place, a sport complex where people can venture themselves in different sporting activity, like boxing, indoor, soccer and stuff. I will give you an example, what happened to, in Filipinos. Manny Pacquiao is one of the boxers who even built 1,500 houses. So, and then give it to people. Through what? Through boxing. That is investing in human capital, which they are, the current administration, they are lacking in identifying a place where they can build a sporting complex and then where people can trade. I'm one of the scientists, but I'm failing because there's no place where I can train my people. So that's what I can tell you. And then also, in way of having to curb unemployment, social corporate responsibility. Business here, they are at honeymoon. They are operating at honeymoon. None of the people who are actually looking after them or asking them, they are not doing their duty of social corporate responsibility. They are not giving anything to sport. So that actually is killing our town. Now, when it comes to informal settlement, we are going to partner with private partnership, with company, to identify plot that we can survey, and then build the house where we are going to subsidize these houses so that people can buy at cheaper rate. Let me just give an example. The current rate for unserviced land or serviced land here in Rundu is $100 per square meter. So what we are going to do, Let us say a square meter of a portion of service land is 375. What we're going to do, we will subsidize. Instead of a person spending 37,000, this person will pay 20,000, the other amount being subsidized. So it will be cheaper for our people. And then another thing again to come out is because we have already studied that people are moving, and as well as people are graduating and they're getting employed, and they struggle with this high rent. So APP will identify a portion of land, like I say, consultation with the traditional authority. We are going to build the houses where people will rent, especially like the young graduate. This will avoid the mushrooming of sharks and stuff, because they are going to rent affordable house and then they will live comfortably. And in this case, money also get in the council. And then other things again that we're going to do is we'll revive projects like Build Together. If you are to, when you're just going to walk out from this Gaga house, just maybe 300 meters, you will find Donker Hook. Most of those houses were built by Build Together. And this actually is a process whereby people cannot afford. They can be assisted through that project. We will empower Build Together to come in Rundu and help the poor people to get affordable and decent houses. So that's actually what we are going to do. And then the current informal settlement, we will formalize them as well as make sure we build proper road for them to reach at their places. I thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. May Rebecca, please.
Yes, thank you. Before I get to the question, I would just want to emphasize something quickly. As for us, this is our first time running for local authority. And by doing this, we have looked at all the oppositions that has run for the past few years. And one thing they have neglected is the people. And the only thing they have focused on is where they are to get to that seat. But they have not sold back to the community. And to answer your question, as NEFF party, we are going to look at the infrastructure, especially the formal settlements. We are looking at lights, electricity. This is going to take way many years to come. But then what can we do right now? This is where we bring in the solar plantation. We make sure we provide these people with the proper solar plantation that provides street lights, and those that can afford can actually buy and put into their houses. It might sound probably electricity, not really necessary. But then look at it, most people, if you wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, these guys walk from Tumweneni or to Ingireni to come to town to come and work. And imagine that time is still dark. What happens is all these small boys around there, that's their target. They arrive at work, probably injured, probably killed on the way. So this is what we have to look in. And plus, we are going to look at crime. These are, because of the poverty around our region and around our town, that's why the unemployment youth are engaging into this crime. And we, as a NEFF member, we are going to make sure that we are going to put up a discipline camp where these minors, remember these minors cannot be charged even if they are arrested. But then we take them at the camp where we discipline them. We advocate it with NAMPOL.
Are you going to
with
whip
the police,
them?
yes.
Are you going to whip them? What are you going to do?
No, we are actually going to involve the social workers.
Okay.
This Ministry of Health is going to come in. And then we ensure that these kids, after being in that discipline camp, they come out better people. And they will see now from there on what else can we assist. You know, through counseling and all that is where you can tell what can this person become, what are the quality of this child.
Yeah.
So this is also one way we want to make sure that unemployed is reduced, especially in the informal settlement. And we're going to look at the water. It's a cry everywhere. And then you look at Skanduko, just recently, people are still drinking from the bowl. Like, on a serious note, 35 years. Even you will not want to drink. Why are we going in Spa and buy water? And imagine we are drinking from the tap, and these guys are drinking from the wall.
Yeah.
Can you see the sanitation and all this? It's like these people are not regarded as human in this town. So these are the things that we have to put across. Water, priority.
Thank you.
And then we will also have to look at the markets. As I mentioned earlier, town council, I don't think, apart from the markets, I don't see any other structure probably that you can say this will generate money or that will accommodate a number of people. And these are the things that we have to look at. The land is there.
Yeah.
The investors are there. Of course, yes, they do come. But what do? We go there behind doors and we try to convince them to invest in our businesses instead of investing in the town council so that we can build the infrastructures for our people. And then you also look at, we're going to look at the sports sector. Apart from the Rundu Sports Stadium, what else is there?
No.
And all the sports that are here in Rundu, you can say there's only soccer, netball, and probably volleyball. What other sports is there?
Yeah.
There are also, our children are there that are talented in other things, but we do not have the infrastructures. And then we have to look at, especially, we have Northrens. Back in the days, we used to use that as we will go for regional swimming competitions.
Yeah.
But what happened? It's dead. Why can't town council collaborate with the school? We renovate, we make it right, people get trained.
Yeah.
I mean, those are things that we have to know now. When we are there, let's not think only of our belly.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if...
No, I think let's,
okay.
let's
Thank
wrap
you.
up so that we can now start engaging the audience. Not in so many words, and then we come to Malume, and then we talk to the people.
Next time we start from here, because I see you favoring your friend there. You see, to start with ADM we are very clear. We are clear on what we want, how we want it, why we want it, and when do we want it. Look, there's a saying what people said in some of our languages, you don't actually wound a messenger. I'm talking to a messenger. I will just single out one here. I will not put a wound in his head because he's a messenger. I will wanted to speak to a candidate like myself to present to the people of Rundu and everybody how are we going to solve the mess their party has created in this town. You see, I'm not surprised for the misinterpretation of taking away jobs from consultancy and stuff. You see, council have got departments. You've got your building department, you've got your health department and stuff that we are paying with our money. Why are we paying these people? For being there as what? There is our comrades or as staff members or workers of the council. What are they doing? Are we truly saying that we have fake people in the right positions, well paid every month, There's no single month that we are told the staff of Rundu are not paid. People are there, paid. Hence, every day, even to buy pen, you have to call a consultant to come and do a study. What nonsense is that? What nonsense is that? We must do away with this lazy mentality of thinking. This country needs people who have to take decisions, like I said in the beginning, painful and risky. We are ready to take that to fix the mess that the what you call majority party has created in this town. I'm not blaming the messenger. Well, he's not a candidate, he's just a messenger. There's nothing I can do. I will blame the one who sent him, who I don't know. But going forward, Rundu has become very much disorganized because of personal interest of individuals, both those who are in administration and the elected members. Everywhere you will go in Namibia, the most darkest town you find, I will not mention, you will conclude yourself. Everywhere you go in Namibia, a town that you will need even to go for shopping centers, a 4x4, I will not mention, you will conclude. I don't know whether you came with a 4x4 or how. In Rundu, I grew up here. You see, some of the things that have been spoken here, it's like paining me. I grew up here. My grandfather was a minister in the administration of the Boers. We lived in the last house. Those who know Rundu, the house close to Kamnoko, is where I grew up. My grandfather was a minister of Home Affairs. And when I'm talking about Rundu affairs, I know what I'm talking about because I have got books and I was very close to my grandfather. When we grew up, there used to be special places in Rundu here that you would want always to go and pass by, even just to pass by. It was your Dr. Romanus Kampung'u, the street that goes up. It was your Nordgrens. Those are the places you wanted to go, and just to pass by and feel that fresh air. Where is the luxury part of Rundu? Mention one suburb or location. Zero. What are we doing? Have we stopped thinking?
Yeah.
Or are we still thinking? I will not blame anybody, but what I'm saying is that we need each other in order to rectify the situation messed by whoever have messed it. We need each other, and we have to be realistic. When we are talking about some of these issues, we don't need to politicize. We have to face the reality.
Yeah.
As big as Rundu, council does not have even a structure that they can call a structure that generate revenue. Which one?
Yeah.
Rundu Beach? How much do you get from Rundu Beach? Why is the council operating in a zero, negative, not zero, negative zero balance budget every year? Why? Because of the irresponsibility and not knowing what to spend the money for. ADM candidates are not looking for employment. No, we are here to take actions, risky and painful ones, to fix the mess caused by the our colleagues here in the regime. Yeah. So we need to have things in place. Service delivery must not be compromised.
Yeah.
Service delivery has become so poor in our town to an extent that I don't even know how to explain.
I understand.
I don't want to talk about water. I don't want to talk about electricity. I don't want to talk about roads. You know yourselves. But what we are saying is that if Oshakati and city of Windhoek has managed to have their own electricity, Rundu is not a town in Angola or in Brazil. We are also a Namibian town. Why can't we not have our own electricity, of which we can generate enough funds to invest in whatever project that we want to invest?
Thank you, VP.
So then,
yeah.
Going to your question, the informal settlements are here.
Oh.
They are here, and there's nothing we can do apart from improving the situation in the informal settlement. It's a very sad situation. The other day I was just visiting one location that I cannot mention now, yesterday in fact, where A 76-year-old grandmother told me that they have to pray not to feel like going to toilet during the day because they've got no way to relieve themselves unless during the night. And that is Kaisosi. Unless they have to jump the fence of the green scheme and enter there. But then the security guard will deal with you if they see you. You have a location that is in town. You are not able even to provide sanitation. What type of leadership do we have?
Yeah.
We are having a plan to improve, just like my brother Philip said, you have to give the rights, the right of the land to the owners who are residing at that place, so that even if they go to a financial institution to borrow money, you know, they have got document,
Yeah.
you know, to borrow and see how to develop those air vents that you have given them. And to take services like water, to take services like electricity. After we have do away with the Ionoret here, that is failing. Like now, anytime we must pray that the lights must not go off, because there's a habit of if the rain drop and the electricity will go off. We will have our own electricity.
Yeah.
Just when you enter Rundu, you will see lights, not like now, as if we are in hell, very dark. The informal settlements will have proper roads that even people, when you come from your work, you go until at your doorstep of your gate, you enter.
Thank you, VP.
And
Thank
we will
you.
save lives. We will not have a situation whereby our women will be raped or killed or taken away their belongings.
Thank you, VP. Thank
And we must be realistic when we are discussing these things. We must not satisfy our bosses if there are some of you who have been sent by bosses. We are dealing with serious issues here.
Thank you, VP. So I really want to speak to this audience.
Yes.
So please indulge me on informal settlement plan in not so many words so that we can engage the people.
No, thank you very much. I think first and foremost, I want to speak to the voters because your poster clearly says the battle for the soul of Rundu.
Yes.
And we are here on a political mission in order for us to speak to the electorates who are going to cast their votes on the 26th of November. I think that is fair and square, that we make that very clear. If you listened to some of the panelists on the desk, it clearly tells you they do not have a plan. Number two, they are not realistic to the current situation of the town. They are not realistic to the population of Rundu, and they have interest in finding an opportunity in council. That is what is clearly playing out here. Now, because some of them spoke without mentioning what plan do they have for the informal settlement. Remember, the informal settlements are there, are in existence, and they continue to grow every day. I think one of the panelists acknowledged that fact, that continuously these informal settlements are there. That is why our party has a plan of creating centers where these people that are coming in, if you go from here to, let's say for instance, your recent one, to Mwenenu has now a very big population and it's continuing to grow. So after Mwenenu, I think about 5 kilometers, you are going to find that power line that separates the traditional authority land to the local authority land. That is Nganzana, that's very close to Nganzana there. For those who are well vested in the affairs of the Rundu Town Council and are following, will be able to know that the Rundu Town Council has conducted an environmental impact assessment study that is looking into, because they want to create a center that side. And a solar plant that was spoken about here by some of the panelists, this is work in progress. As we speak now, if you go that side, a site has already been identified. This is work that was done by the current council that is going to exit now. So that already tells you that as a party, we acknowledge the situation where we find ourselves. And number two, we have to do something about it, and that is what we are busy doing. Currently, the council that is exiting has passed on a mandate to the incoming councillors of the Swapo party to make sure that they do a study of the informal settlements, specifically the ones that are of recent. You have your Tumwenenu, you have your Ndama South, Ndama East, this very recent one, so that we now get to understand in and around those neighborhoods, how many elderly, how many houses that belong to the elderly, how many houses that belong to the youth, so that that statistic can be able to assist council in terms of creating a solution for those informal settlements. I do not want to tell people that we are going to, no, but I think I just spoke for...
I think is I think look, I just want to be fair here.
Yes.
I think everybody spoke for long actually, but also for the ruling party, because they are the ruling party. They get attacked a lot, and sometimes you have to give the man a chance to respond to those things before he talks about the point. But I hear you. There are no favorites here. If you can just conclude your point.
No, this is where the problem is.
Now they are not ruling. They are all competitors.
You see, this is where the problem is. And it provokes me to respond, because right now, this is when we go and sell our ideas to the electorates, like I clearly indicated, this is a pure political platform. Yes. And we are selling our ideas to the electorates. We have to acknowledge the fact that the current governance of the Rundu Town Council is led by the majority of councillors who are sponsored by the Swapo party. Yes. So, and it's important for me to speak and respond to what progress has been made, what plans do we have in terms of the informal settlements? And I was just getting to that. And if you look at your time, I have not even spoken more than some of the comrades or candidates or panelists have spoken here. It's good we have councillors here. Yeah. Now, as a party, last month, through the Namibian government, you have seen that there was a conference held in Windhoek where we are looking at how do we strengthen public-private partnership, which was attended by international investors. Why? Why did we call, or why did the leadership of the Swapo party, through the government of the day, feel the need to invite or to come up with such a conference? It's because we have looked at issues that boil down to the grassroots. As a government alone, we need to collaborate with partners in order for us to improve the livelihoods of Namibians. And I want to acknowledge, and I want everyone in this house to know that after we have taken over power from 1990 to where we are today, the Swapo party continues to add on brick by brick. Right now, in Namibia, the Ministry of Urban, led by Honorable James Ankwasa, is doing justice, and the response of the citizen is out there, and you can clearly see. So that already tells you that when we have councillors that are Swapo-led councillors or Swapo-led councils, we are bound to see serious progress. We are bound to see lives being transformed. We are about to see our informal settlements being transformed from the point where they are now to a different point. You see, the good part, and I want to conclude, the good part with Namibia is that we have given a certain political party a mayorship of the city. What did we get out of that? Bicycle lanes. That is their legacy in the city of Windhoek.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now we talk to our audience. Don't be like my panelists. They are talking. So please be concise a little bit. If it's a comment, make a commentary, make it very short. If it's a question, make it precise to who you are giving it to, and also brief. We ought to have a roaming mic. Yeah.
Should I stand up?
I think it's important that you stand. You're live on TV.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and good evening to you, the panelists. My question is directed to the delegate from IPC. Okay. IPC in their manifestos spoke about mobile clinics. So with 21 members in parliament and yet to table motions to address this, what do you have and what mechanisms do you have in place considering that Rundu State Hospital cannot cater for the population at hand? Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Another question there, please. Pass on the mic, just give it to the Chelsea man.
Good evening. Am I audible enough? You can hear me all, eh?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Toivo. First, before I move to my question, I want to comment and say, why this event happened in the north. And the mistake which you have made, Toivo, from Namibian Sun is you have carried out representatives, not candidates. I can give you a phone now and you call candidates. Maybe Swapo Party, I'm not seeing the candidate. IPC, I'm not seeing the candidate. I'm seeing Eliud, he attend the other event. We have candidates who cannot even differentiate between what is local authority and what is regional council. How do you expect them to deliver? That's the first question. No, I've listened to all people speaking there, and some have tackled key challenges which we face as Rundu. I've lived in Rundu for close to 6-7 years now, and we have 4 key problems. One is safety. In the night today around 9, just drive there by engine or night call. Before around 1, someone's phone will be taken away here in Rundu. There by creation, opposite the police station, someone's phone will be taken away. Rundu has become unsafe compared to Windhoek. I can walk in Windhoek knowing that my phone will be taken away. But when I work in Rundu, I know my phone will be taken away, and if my phone is very small, it's costing less than 10,000, they will make me to swallow my phone. Very unsafe. That's number 1, safety. 2, we have the issue of land. I heard some people tackled on the issue of land and stuff like that. But the primary problem we have is we cannot have a house in Rundu costing 1.1 million while people are unemployed. Can we service the land and let people build their ambassadors on the land? And that's one thing I've learned in Rundu. They can have a wall fence while they have ambassador inside and people can stay there. Service the land and give the land to people. That's number 2, the land. Number 3, water. Today, when it's raining, you are flooded. Tomorrow, you don't have water to drink. It does not make sense at all. And this is one of the things I was talking when I was in Katima, when I was talking to the governor. You cannot be flooded today, and tomorrow you don't have water to drink. And everyone who spoke, I didn't hear anyone who have any on how you are going to address the water crisis in Dama, Tumene, and the other location. Don't talk about Tutungeni. I've lived in Tutungeni since 2004. There's no water crisis there. In fact, if electricity goes off in Rundu, Tutungeni remains on. If you play your music in Tutungen, and I don't know, people who are living in Tutungen are living large. If you play your music there, I remember last time when my uncle was playing music, the white person, the neighbor came and closed the music in the car. That's how safe Tutungen is, and people are studying, they are going to study. And the last one is the issue of unemployment. We have Rundu campus, we have Rundu vocational, we have Ngato. All these institutions, and we still have Alba and other institutions, are producing graduates. I can tell you, someone with a degree from UNAM is 10 years unemployed in Rundu. No one day from the candidates or the representative addressed the issue of how they are going to incorporate the issue of graduate into the market. They only talked about servicing of the land here in town, which is very unsafe in the night and stuff like that. So my question is, and if you are going to have this event next, we want the candidates in front, and the question is, how? Of course you have idea. Of course we blame you for the failure of 35 years because you want to carry a research after 35 years, which is very disappointing. But how are you going to address this issue? Yes, we want to address the water to Mweneni. The question is, from all the candidates, how do you want to solve this issue? How much is the budget? Because you need to be realistic. It's not only the issue of sitting in front and talking. Political statements are very wrong. So my question is, how are you going to address the safety issue in Rundu? Night call, opposite engine, creation, before you go to Kaisosi, that side of Tutungeni when the Dama boys have knocked off here. How are you going to address the safety issue there? That's number 1. 2, how are you going to address the land issue? Because compared to Windhoek, the population of Rundu grows by 20% every night. I'm a student, Linda. One day I woke up around 5 in the morning. I was walking the street. I was staying in Mass Housing by then. 5 o'clock, people are already walking the street, going to school. 8 o'clock, we still get learners going to school. We have learners coming from Dama, going to Kaisos to school. And you have learner coming from Sauyemwa there, going to Kaisos to go attend classes. From 5 up to around 8, they're still working. Even 9, you still get learners going. How are you planning to address this issue?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Safety and land, take water. How are we going to address the issue of water? We don't want boreholes. Tomorrow, if you have time, go to Ngato there. When I was passing by yesterday. I had to pass through someone's yard for me to get away. It's flooded, but people don't have water to drink.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have 3 more hands. That is all the time we have. Yeah.
Oh, good evening.
Evening, brother.
It's good when you listen to politicians speak in the years of election. Like in Rundu, we have serious problems. And I believe in baby steps. First of all, I would like to acknowledge what the previous councillors have done. Though it's not excellent, but they've tried. So I've listened to 3 or 4 things that I'm going to comment on, because most of the points he deliberated on them already. First of all, we have a problem in giving. The business owners, the investors, so to say, that comes into our town, they don't give. I don't know whether there's a contract that they sign that the money you just have to give to people that are giving you the land or these departments, what happens? Because they have a problem in giving. Sports, you look at, there are different teams that are suffering here. They don't give back. They are just here to take money and invest somewhere else. And that pains a lot as one of the born and raised, let me say, resident in this town. And then we have an issue of electricity, as it was deliberated on already. If my power goes off now, I have to call Oshakati. Oshakati has to refer someone that will now take a longer channel. Then I can only get power after 2 days or 1 day sometimes. We have a bigger office here. I don't know how now. I don't want to deal with Swapo. Swapo is gone now. The councillors that are coming in, I want them at least if they can respond on how are they going to deal with issues of electricity. Because it's good when you talk about, no, he did not do what, he did not do what. But what are you going to do? We want the plan, as he spoke about here. The safety, it was mentioned already. Then we talk of land. There are issues here that we have. You have land. You are staying on land that is not yours. It's like you are just given, this is Moses' land, but it's not yours. So you have been staying on that land for more than 20, 30, 15, as you were born, since you were born, so to say. But yet you have to go, you did not pay anything. It still belongs to the council. And then you will find out sometimes that land is lost in the region, and like some old people used to lose sometimes land here. So what is in place when these people are coming to cry at your office? And then I think, I had the comrade there who spoke about sport. We deal with sports here. It deliberated on a very much important point, whereby you build facilities for these kids to partake into different sport courts that give them access to at least employed in that sector, and then they get money, so they come and develop. If we are honest, we have, I don't want to mention names because it's social media here. We have a lot of people that made it through sport, but if you go back to their villages, the way he left it is still the same up to today. Millions that the person got. Where are we today? Maybe we have a better plan, maybe just to, because I want to listen more. I deal with sport here. I want to listen more on what plans is he having that is going to make it different this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. So I just, while we are talking to the lady, I just want to tell our viewers at home that, of course, those that are watching on TV, that we are now crossing over for news. We'll continue for a few minutes so that the audience concerns can be addressed. We can be found on 1up2, that is exactly the way it is, www.1up2, the way I'm saying it, 1 spelled in word, up as in going up, 2 again in word.com, and then you'll find us there. The colleagues in Windhoek, you can proceed with your news, but let's hear from the lady.
Good evening, everybody. As an independent voter myself, it means I don't really owe an allegiance to a political party, Because, I mean, independent voters, we go with candidates in that season who's making sense. But I want to address all the representatives of the councils, I mean, the different political parties that are here. As a Rundu resident, born and bred here, Rundu Town Council, where the councillors go and meet and make decisions, right? To solve problems of Rundu. I do not believe they don't have an office. Rundu Town Council, I believe they do not have, an office building. The office building, there is also police in the, which other ministries are there? So many. You are the town council in Rundu. You say you want to solve our problems, but how can I allow someone without a house to solve my issue? You know, if you don't have a house, it means you don't know how to build a house, if that makes sense. And then if you go to town council sometimes, right? Why am I talking about this thing of having an office space or a council? You go as far as all the other town councils or they have a meeting building, you know, that is known as, this is a Rundu Town Council office. We know the councillors go there and sit and solve people's problem. But we've gone on for years without a space, which already tells me there's so much negligence there. And then the other thing is, why am I talking about this? Because if a person has a building, for instance, if I work there, you cannot measure productivity of your people. Because as it stands, if I'm an accountant, I can leave that place and open my door and walk out, and I'll be back after 3 hours, right? But when you have a building, you can decide to make it in such a way that people can even have key cards. Then you start measuring productivity. Why am I talking about all these things of productivity and having the people at the town councils accountable? Because those people who work there, usually I want to assume they will bring motions to the councillors, right? And you guys have to table things to talk about for the town, to solve issues. How can I trust someone that does not, you go there, the place leaks water everywhere, but there is a technical department. You go there, it's like I want to believe maybe this is one of the reasons Rundu looks a mess. Because I cannot listen to town council, or even the councillors for that matter. Why? Because you have not positioned yourself in a place where people should listen to you. Buildings matter. You know, buildings are not just a place where people just sit and, you know, how you present yourself on the outside. Actually, people will know if my council is organized. What I'm just asking, I want all of you guys to reconsider as the incoming, maybe, you know, councillors. Please sit on the table. Talk about the motion to look like a town council that is ready to have solutions for the town by having your own place so that we can start to believe that you can actually solve problems. Start with your own house. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, well, there's one last hand here. We will, in the interest of time, that the gentleman will be the last one.
Yeah, thank you for the floor. I'm Mr. Myenga Cyprian, the regional coordinator of PDM, Kavango East. That, for your information, I'm supposed to join the panel, but because of some reasons, I arrived a little bit late. Forgive me for that. So I want just to add or to ask something which was said by my colleagues who is sitting there. Let me start with our colleague who is representing the ruling party have stated that we have a problem with the youth who is flocking from the rural area to the urban area. Now, those youth is having a problem, they don't have work, unemployment. So, if you want to separate something, what are you going to do? And then for how many years should this, for how many years should this youth flock from rural area to the urban areas? So this is a very dangerous situation. This is what causes criminal issues in our town. Because those kids don't have work, they are unemployed. Secondly, I can say we have a problem in our town with strategic plan. That is the only thing. They can't plan. They follow other people's plan. It might happen like that. If you are properly planning, we can't stay with problems at the settlements. If these settlements don't have water at this moment, they don't have lights. But look, it's not only the settlements. Even at our town, where I'm staying at Safari, there's no street lights. Now for how many years? So I can say we have a problem with our ruling party. They have more to do with theoretically than practical. They have things on the paper, but they can't do it. There is a lot. Look at health situation in Rundu. How many hospitals do we have? Why can't they not think of providing mobile clinics? Why not? If they can send maybe 2 cars to go at Thikanduko or elsewhere at Tumwenenu, it's only to see the health of people. But when it is election, they send cars to go there. So this is the situation in Rundu. So I can say it, we can defend, but the reality is our local authorities is not working well. So as he stated that, it is impossible that you can work without an office. Why not? For how many years? Some of the people, when was it? Saturday, when it was raining too much. What had happened in Kenyemu? People was flooding. People was flooding. But now if you have your strategic plan, for how many years can you plan so that those people cannot get that flooding? How many years? Look at the situation near the Omashare Lodge there. What is happening there? The pipes are broken because of what? It's unplanned.
Yeah.
Unplanned. We are not planning. So I think if we are coming as PDM, if you are going to select our local authorities, we are going to have proper strategic planning. That is very simple. Whereby, when you are planning, the problem is we leave other partners when we are planning about the town. Instead of including the local leaders, we are planning alone. And later on you said, what is going on here? This is the problem. So I rest my point up to there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muyenga. We wish you were here with us tonight, but of course I understand the circumstances that you endured today. So this is what we are going to do. We need to wrap up now. So there's been a lot of comments there. I think some of them were a bit repetitive and some of them were on issues that we've already touched on. So I'll give everybody just really maybe 30 seconds to wrap up their mind properly, just their argument properly, why your party must be voted. Just 30 short seconds. Start with you, Mr. Moses.
Oh, thank you very much. Like I've indicated clearly from the beginning, that the Swapo party has a solid plan that it continues to build on, given the challenges that we have experienced over the years. And I think it's very important that in one of our statements, we have clearly said we have heard the challenges of our people. That is why we are coming back to the people, seek mandate, so that we can be able to continue to build on what we have started already. So residents of this town, wherever you might have found yourself, please come 26th of November, vote for the Swapo party, vote for continuity, a party that is tested, a party that has capacity in it. Come and cast your vote to Swapo party to make sure that Rundu's challenges are tackled without delays. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the way to do it. I'm having my timer on. France, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I think IPC is the only one that received a direct question, so I should be treated a little bit different. With regards to the whole issue of saying why not candidate, I think we have a problem with understanding or differentiating between terminologies. When we talk about political parties and we speak about independent candidates, if the invitation was clear to say candidates of political party contesting in Rundu should come, we were going to comply. But since they only invited political parties, meaning it is open for anybody to come, and when you are a political party, you are an organization, anybody is open to go and speak on behalf of the political party. So if it was the issue of no bring candidates and yet IPC doesn't bring candidates, then you could have an argument. AR bring candidate and they don't bring candidate, that is something else. But I think we need to understand that the invitation was clear, and somebody mentioned it that maybe next time invite candidates, and that is going to be done according to the organizer. With regards to the issue of IPC having stressed in the manifesto to have mobile clinics, it is good that young people have stood up to come closer to witness and observe how politics are run. When a manifesto is put there, your manifesto can only work properly as planned if electorate gives you absolute mandate. When I have a manifesto and I say this is what I plan to do, if you vote, or your vote can only amount to a seat of mine, that seat cannot make a decision to overrule the central government within the National Assembly. Because there it is all about majority rules. You might have good ideas. If your electorate did not give you the mandate to make sure that you make decisions, it becomes a little bit difficult. But to solve the issue of Rundu is the reason why we are here. When I spoke, I have touched on issues of how we can alleviate the pressure in Rundu by making sure that we provide services to the rural areas. That one was clear. I don't know how you missed it. And that, because of time, you would not expect me to mention details, but otherwise I have given to you how we are going to make sure that we alleviate the pressure. And this pressure does not only go to the issue of land or whatever. We talk about clinics and hospitals. The same thing is within that basket. So we cannot detail it out because I'm not the only one. We are many, as you can see, but otherwise that is the program. But then when we talk about issues of crime in Rundu and because of the darkness, I think it's very important for us to do justice to ourselves. When you come with a prepared question and then somebody mentions it, it's very important for you to tick it off. Because so many representatives here have mentioned how they are going to make sure that Rundu becomes a elite town, but then it seems like we have missed it out again. And then if we talk about how issues of creation and other clubbing or club places.
Time is Kanjugu.
Yes, yes.
Time.
You need to make sure that, you see, we have police officers that are so many in force. We have a very good number of forces. We need to make use of those people. But for as long as the town is lit, much of this crime is going to be alleviated, although we cannot curb it completely, because we have Windhoek, our city of Windhoek is very lit, but we see crime and the issues every day happening. We can only reduce, we cannot solve everything completely. And then unemployment as well, we touched about all those kind of things.
Yeah,
we did it, and this is what we said. If you have a teacher who's unemployed, obviously to solve is to make sure that you deal with the teacher-learner ratio. That is common sense. So otherwise, everything is in order. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. You abused your privilege a little bit. Elliot, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Trevor. I think really to deal with the problems in Rundu, first you need to deal with leadership. So the moment we remove these people without offices and people who think that they can run a town without an office, it will be the best thing ever we can do. Because if you do not have an office, like you said, yes, you can't run a town. The first thing we have done as the AR movement is to deploy young men and women with talent and energy and technical capabilities to turn around Rundu. That is the first thing. The second one is that Rundu cannot generate revenues. It can. And what we are going to do is to come up with, different pools of sources, how we can generate revenue. How do we do that quickly? Is that the sport economy that people are talking about, this is a very important economy. It now even deals with a lot of problems that happens in society. We can also look into real estate. There are people who are very rich to afford build together, but they are also very poor to get loans from the bank to build houses. We are going to accommodate those type of people. We are also going to ensure that you cannot run a town without research and development center. So we are also going to make sure that we at least partner with either UNAM or RVTC to ensure that we have that department that deal with how can we then lead development that is well informed, not these bogus things we are hearing here. And then to make sure that we are also holding our candidates accountable. So he was talking about Sankwasa. Sankwasa is firing Swapo candidates. He's also a Swapo. He's not firing any other people. So we are going to have councillors that are accountable to us, not these Swapo people that are firing each other.
Okay. Mr. Gashera, please.
Yeah.
Again, please make it short.
I'll make it short.
Yeah.
But it would be unfair for me not to answer the question of the three colleagues. All right. Give us the mandate. We understand the assignment. When you talk about sport, I will give you a practical example. I started under the tree, and I coached at national level. Juniors that I coach in Australia bought a house for the mother. Currently, Shitembi played under on a dusty environment at Kayangona. That's where he started sport. As we speak right now, he bought a house for the mother in Queen's Park. Mboma, a person who started from the village, running. Everyone saw on the social media the house that was sleeping. Today, go to Chamangora, you will wonder. That's why I say sport can change life. And now coming to my brothers, they, like I said, give us the mandate, we understand the assignment. We made a proper research and we think ahead. Currently, as we speak right now, the capacity of Rundu water, 1,200 cubic meter per hour. But now, what is on reality, and practically, is 800 cubic. So we short off 400 cubic meters. So it means that the current administration failed to understand the assignment. And then as we speak right now, we have already planned that by 2037, by the year 2037, Rundu will need 72,000 cubic meters per day because of the growth of the town. If we look at, for example, now, Rundu is second to Windhoek, 118,000. So we actually base our finding on the population. Now you talk about the solution. Currently now, the solution is there. They are building a dam which is worth 665 million. A dam is built here in Rundu. But the current administration is taking too long to complete. So we will make sure to account those people that they complete on time so that water should not be an issue.
Pandu brother.
Thank you.
We have to continue, yes.
I think it should also be unfair, but anyway, I'll make it short.
Yeah.
Anyway, with the NEFF, we are going to stand on our ground to say, together we'll make a better Rundu. By doing this, we'll build safer, smarter, and more inclusive Rundu, where every resident has access to opportunities, reliable infrastructures. And we are going to serve our Rundu people by giving them a leadership, honest leadership, and that are capable and that will be able to involve in the community actions. And we are talking about not promises, but we are talking about actions. I mentioned, somebody asked about safety and all that. I don't know if you were here when I spoke. There are measures that we are going to imply. When it comes to safety, we'll look into the CCTV cameras that will be placed at certain various places that are not safe, and patrol, that will be 24/7 patrol in the town. So I think I've answered that. And then we will also make sure that we build new markets for town council that will generate more money to the revenue of Rundu. Thank you.
Vice President.
Thank you very much. You see, ours is action. Action, nothing else. No sweet talk, no nothing. We know, just like I say, we know what we want to go and implement. For you to do away with your crime, you need lights. And I said that. You need to do away with all these bushes, that you have around town. That from every suburb to town, whatever highway, you need to have lights. Unlike the current situation now, we are not blaming anyone, but our blame is to make sure that there are lights. Secondly, every appointment that is going to be made, starting from December, We are not going to make an appointment like to become official opposition in Rundu, Swapo. No, we are going to do it vice versa. We will not appoint people based on how we relate to each other, like what is happening now. I appoint you because you are a comrade, even if you are incapable. People are heading departments, technical and all others, but people are not able to do nothing. And we'll make sure that technical department will have a stock of your, what you call it, water meters. Everything that you need must be found at the technical department, including the graders and all others. Thirdly, we are a leadership that is going to make sure that Rundu must do every development by consulting. Whatever project we are going to implement, whether with foreign or local business people, consultation must be there, and we have to reach consensus. We'll have to pull in investors. We know the problem with water now is that we are owing NAM water around 800 million. There are people who want to help the council, but ask me what is stopping them. Councillors want to be paid before they give the go-ahead to those. I can prove. We brought investors here who wanted to invest by helping council. I can even mention if you want so. People came, want to invest, but because of the councillors who wanted a certain amount of money first to be paid, our council is not going to entertain that. We'll talk to each other, we'll motivate communities to come up with neighborhood watches, also to assist the Namibian police.
Thank you, VP. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We have to stop there.
I'm just urging people to follow us because we have more to offer. Thank you.
Absolutely. No. Moses, Franz, Elliot, Mr. Kashera, Rebecca, and my leadership there, Vincent, please, thank you very much for making time. Thank you. This is really what the people wanted to hear. I think you have, all of you have really given solid ideas to your people. It's up to the people of Rundu now to decide on the 26th. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. And that is it for us here. Thank you for tuning in, and